Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me once again for a Perezpective review of 11/22/63, the Hulu original miniseries based on the Stephen King novel of the same name. Today, we're going to be discussing episode 7, the second to the last episode in the series, and we're just keep getting closer and closer to the date of 11/22/63. Actually, get to 11/22/63, and first of all, I'd like to just say I am a little bit torn in as far as how I feel about this episode. I think I've actually learned to like it a little bit better as the days has passed by, and I think that's why I waited a little bit longer to record this, because right at the moment I was watching it, I was getting frustrated with the show, with this episode, and it took a couple of days for me to actually just think over what happened on the episode for me to actually say, maybe it wasn't that bad. So let's just get to the show. Let's talk about what happened on the show, and I'll just let you guys know what I think about what's going on. We start off with Jake waking up in a hospital after he's been beaten by, I forgot the guy's name already, the guy that was running the betting ring, and he's having trouble figuring out where he's at. He kind of thinks he's in 2016, but then he sees Sadie. He then sees the doctor, who is actually Al, who is actually getting on him, and I think it is a he has very good valid reasons as to why he would be getting upset with Jake, even though this is in Jake's head. And Al's just pretty telling him he's been useless. He's failing what he's supposed to be doing, and he has, because he's been preoccupied with his personal life instead of just trying to be there to do the mission. He is out doing other stuff, and he has allowed the past to get to him, and at this point looks like he's not even going to be able to carry on his mission. So Jake finally wakes up. He is about 17 days away from the assassination. It's November 5th, if I recall correctly. And he is having trouble remembering things because of the beating he took. And he's unable to actually remember details of his life and why he's in 1963. I don't remember if they say if he remembers being from the future, even though he did kind of have that little glimpse into his own future when he was talking to his ex-wife, and then of course with Al. So he's there a couple days, and when he's about to sign out of the hospital, he remembers that Bill is in the asylum, which they couldn't remember where Bill was because Jake didn't tell Sadie what was going to happen to him. He just says that he was becoming a problem, that he was going to take care of it. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Jake says that Bill went back to Kentucky when, in reality, we know that Bill has been locked up, and because Jake was trying to keep him from being with Oswald when the whole assassination attempt occurs, or even being recruited by Oswald. So we head to the insane asylum, and he's actually been moved from the hospital to I believe it was a state asylum, because Jake wasn't there. They didn't know what happened to him. They had to move him to the state asylum because there was no one to pay the bills. Here is where some of the frustration for me comes into play. I was from episode 2 or 3 saying that I liked that Bill joined Jake and that he was going to be a kind of companion to him, because in the book, and like I said, I won't talk too much about the book, but every once in a while I will. In the book, Jake is by himself for the most of the part, and he has having to go from Jody to Dallas and Jody to Dallas and do all these couple things. And in the show, we compress 5 years into 3 years, and doing all the stuff that he needs to do, Jake wouldn't be able to do it. So having Bill there helps him be able to do some of the stuff that he would normally be able to do in the 5 years, and also give him some companionship as far as a friendship goes. But that hasn't really happened with Bill. Yes, there's been some bonding with him, even in the last episode where I forgot to mention one of the last episodes where Bill wanted to go back into the future with Jake, and he's kind of sad that Jake says that no, he's gonna end up staying, that he'll leave Al's booking records with him. But all in all, I think Bill has just been dumb. He's been there just to mess with Jake, really. And in reality, it might just be the past pushing back on Jake by giving Bill his friendship or whatever it is. But Bill has been nothing but he's been when he's drunk he almost spills the beans on what they're doing. He falls in love with Marina. He gets befriends uh, Lee, and there's nothing for him to do other than mess with Jake's mission. And I don't know. It's just disappointing to me that they added this character and then this is all they're doing with him. And in this scene, we see Bill is a little bit different. He is starting to believe the doctors and what they're saying that or Jake being from the future is not real. That maybe even Jake himself is not real, and Jake is there just to mess with him instead of telling him, let's get you out of here. Let's go ahead and take you home and calm you down. Jake keeps pushing on him. We need you now. We need you. We need to do this more. And when he goes, we're going home. Bill wants to go to Kentucky, and Jake says, no. I still need you. I still need you. And it comes to the point where Jake's telling him everything that you went through here was for nothing because we see that part of his scalp has been pulled where they've been doing electrical shock therapy, and this is the reason why he's acting all weird. I mean, I would think that Bill would rise up to say, "Oh, no, 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 everything I'm saying is a lie. Everything is just a delusion. I understand now that it's not real, and so that they can stop electroshock therapy." But it doesn't seem that happened. It seemed that he continued to insist on this happening until they kind of just forced it out of him with all this electrocution. So when Jake is about to sign out or get something to sign out, Bill decides to go to the ledge of the window and just drop himself. And yeah, maybe I didn't like Bill. Maybe I didn't like the way they were portraying him. But why did he have to die in that manner? Why? Why? It just frustrates me there. So we fast forward to, and this is what the episode does throughout the whole hour, is that it flashes forward a couple of days or a day, and it starts telling us, it starts like it's like a telling us, this is how much days time is left, this is how much time is left, this is how much time is left. Kind of reminded me of Donnie Darko, what they're doing there. So November 15 comes by. Jake still can't really remember anything that he was there to do. I think he even says when he first wakes up, he doesn't remember who JFK or who LBJ are. So back in Dallas, we see that Oswald is going to the FBI agency and wants to speak with Agent Hosty because he knows that they've been keeping track of him. He knows that he's been being followed and they know about Marina and so forth. And now he's certain that they're bugging him because they found that bug that Bill and Jake knocked over on his lamp when they were fighting, when Bill was there messing up Jake's plan. And Lee is not allowed to speak with Hosty for whatever reason. Hosty seems to not want to speak with him. The FBI seems to think he's a joke at this time. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what they were really, what was really happening. I know I was looking up on what happened with this letter because Lee leaves a letter for Agent Hosty, and it's never revealed to what would happen. And as far as I know from what I've read, Hosty never made this public, and I believe he destroyed the letter after everything happened, which is one of the things I think people bring up as to that there is a conspiracy behind the whole JFK thing. So we see a little bit more of Lee's life. We see a scene, we have a scene where his mom is speaking with him, and she seems like, I don't know if she's upset with him or just she feels disheartened because he is not showing the promise that she says that he had when he was in second grade. She's carrying around the second grade report card where the teacher said that he had promise, and she's telling him what happened to that boy, what happened to him. And later on, when I guess everything has come together, and he doesn't have Marina anymore. His mom is telling him, you had promised and you're not doing anything with your life. He is being followed by the FBI. He's being bugged by the FBI, at least as so far he thinks he is. And then he's sitting at a park, and he reads this newspaper where he is he's seeing that the motorcade for JFK is going to come by right where he works, and he just sits there for a little bit and he's thinking. And he just gets up. He doesn't say anything. He just gets up and leaves. So I'm guessing this is the point where he decides that this is the plan. This is what I'm gonna do. So back with Jake, he has been popping pills. He's trying to remember things. He's getting frustrated. Little by little, he starts to remember things, and then he all of a sudden he breaks in on. Before that, we have this scene where we see Sadie dancing with Deke, and it's the same dance, the Lindy Hop that they were done that they did in the episode where he met Sadie, which is a nice little throwback. But I don't think they called it the Lindy Hop in the episode. I think they called it something else, and in the book it was a Lindy Hop. But then they had this little newspaper and it said Lindy Hop. So I guess I just thought that was interesting. So yeah, so Jake just waltz in and says Madison, or he's trying to say something with an M, and then he says Madison. So they're trying to figure out where Madison is. They find a street called Madison, and they go door to door trying to figure out who or if anybody recognizes him. And it's been a while, and they've been going and going, and he kind of feels like they're not going to find it. When they walk up where Oswald lives, and like, oh, I remember this. They go to that first floor house where he was his apartment, and the lady doesn't recognize him. The lady that's living there doesn't recognize him. He wants to come in, but she doesn't let him because she feels like he's gonna try to come back and say, "Hey, this is my place again." So Jake goes upstairs with Sadie, and Oswald's coming out, and like, "Hey, where you been?" I mean, he was Bill's friend, so he's kind of like, "Well, what happened to Bill?" So, and this is one thing that I like about the character, the Oswald character in the show. He is a lot better than the character in the book. He is. He's multidimensional in the show. We see him go off the rails a couple times where he's going crazy, he's yelling, but then we see these tender moments where he's with his baby. And when he's with his baby, he seems a little bit different. He seems more humanized than when he's not with the baby. When he's with Marina, he just seems like a little prick. He beats her. And when he's with the baby, we see a different side of him. And when Jake's sitting there with him before Oswald even picks up the baby, everything just rushes back to him. Jake is getting ready, like, okay, I gotta go get some water. I'll go get it, whatever. He gets a knife because he's ready to end Oswald right there and there. And when he comes back, Oswald comes out with the baby, with June, and Jake is unable to kill him, of course, because I mean, how are you gonna kill Oswald with a baby in his hands? But that is something that the show has done very well. Oswald, there's times where you can just see that Oswald is a kind of a likable character, but then when you see everything else, you see where he goes crazy, where you see where he beats Marina, where he's just doing all these things. You want to hate him, but when you see him with the baby, you kind of hate him a little bit less. And this, of course, we have the hindsight that we know what he's gonna attempt to do here in the show, and what he did in real life. So Jake and Sadie decided it's time to go. I think Oswald is the one that tells him, I think you guys need to go already. And Jake abandons the knife in the trash can outside, and it's pretty much said, okay, this is the guy. I know it's him, and he wants to take care of Oswald himself. He tells Sadie he's feeling out of it. Yeah, he wants to go rest, and as soon as Sadie says okay and she leaves the room, he goes and gets the gun and decides he's gonna go take care of Oswald. He gets in the car and Sadie's there. I do like Sadie is starting to become more of her book self, and more. She has been very faithful to her book self, and her and Deke have been real faithful, I believe. Miss Mimi has been pretty faithful to her. Oswald has been different from the book, but it's been better. Jake has been the one that really has really let me down at some time, because he's not the same person in the book. Not to where the point where it distracts from the story or anything like that, but sometimes he's just a jerk. Sometimes, like I said in the beginning, in the first couple episodes, he doesn't really care about his job, and in the book he does care about his job. and he wants to teach these kids, but they don't care. So he's just feels frustrated. It's okay. So after going on that tangent, so they get to Dallas, and it's the day before the shooting, or the attempted assassination now, and they get to the plaza, but they're not able to stay there. That I believe that Jake wanted to stay there all night, and that way he can wake up there. So when Oswald goes in, or he can try to find Oswald when he wakes up. But the cops say no, you cannot stay here. So they said they drive to some place. I'm not sure where they drive through. It feels like the same alleyway that they've been going throughout the whole show. But they go and they talk about the future, and it feels like Jake and Sadie are both gonna go into the future. Sadie falls asleep, and Jake has, I don't know if it's just a vision, I don't know if it's something that's just coming to him, but it's the yellow card man sitting right next to him. The yellow card man, who throughout the whole show has been telling Jake, "You don't belong here. You don't belong here. Get out of here," pretty much. And not only that, when with Sadie, he went and pretty much it looked like he was going to cause something to happen to Sadie, and Jake is just sitting there talking to him, and we get a conversation from the yellow card man to reveal why he's been trying to stop Jake. The yellow card man himself is a time traveler who, time after time after time, has failed in what he's trying to do. He had tried to travel back to stop his daughter from drowning, but every single time he came back, he was forced to watch his daughter die over and over and over again. And I mean, we see it in his face where he's just breaking down, and he tells Jake, "Don't do anything, just let it be, let it happen," before he disappears. And Jake decides that he is going to tell Sadie, "What if we just let the past be? What if we just let it go? We don't worry about changing the future. We can just stay here. We can go back to Jody. We can get old together. We can raise a family. We can be the teacher with the matching sweaters." And Sadie points out that there is a reason. There is a reason, Jake, why you're here, and that reason is mine as well. And she makes sure that he goes through with what he needs to do. So the next morning they wake up at 8:30. It looks like Jake left the car on all night because the battery's dead. So they need to go ahead and take another car. Which, how, if you need to be at that plaza where Oswald is going to be passing by, and you can't stay there, how far are you going to go that you can't just walk back to the plaza? They need to go and steal another car, and the hotwire car that Bill taught Jake to hotwire. And this is the point where I really get frustrated, because I wanted the assassination attempt to happen in this episode. We get to Oswald arriving to work. He is carrying his rifle in this package, which later on in True Story he tells people that he has curtain rods. And it ends when Oswald going into the building. I was like, oh my god, why did they have to end right now? I was really hoping it was going to end with the assassination attempt, or at least with him pointing the gun and Jake coming in on him. Why? Because we have one episode left. And how much time is the next episode going to take for the assassination attempt to occur, for Jake to get there to stop him? And then they have to hightail it back to the rabbit hole. They need to get out of there. And the reason why it's frustrating me is because I know the end in the book. I want something sort of like the book to happen. It doesn't seem that we're going to get that. I know sometimes the producers and sometimes they decide that they're going to change it up so that the people who have read the book will have something different to see. But the book was beautiful. The book was beautiful, and it doesn't look like we're gonna get that ending. I don't know what's gonna happen, and so yeah, that's my little rant right now for this. Um, if we go beyond 15 minutes of the next episode and Oswald has not even tried to attempt the assassination, or Jake has not tried to stop him, we're not going to get the ending that I want. We're not going to get the ending from the book. And I will try not to let it sour the series for me. I will still go ahead and critique the episode and the series as a whole on its by itself. But of course, I'm gonna have that measure. So what I am gonna do, I'm gonna invite my friend Nick, Nick V from, he's from Holland. He loves the show. He likes watching it. He has not read the book. I want to go ahead and talk to him after I do the review for the final episode, and we'll go ahead and talk about the series in whole. See if he had the same frustrations or he had the same kind of thinking that I did when we were watching this episode, because I have friends who have not read the book and they're loving the episodes, they're loving the show. My wife has not seen has not read the book, and she loves the episodes. She has no problem with them. So I do feel it's a problem of me knowing what's going to happen, having the source material. So we'll leave it there. Oh, I almost forgot one scene with Oswald. I'm sorry. One scene with Oswald with Marina. Marina tries to stop him because Oswald goes to Marina where he's staying with her friend, and he tries to kind of like, I want us to get back together, and Marina says no. And we fast forward to the next morning, and we see that Marina's telling them, "Don't go to work. Don't go to work. Let's go to the zoo. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about what's going on." And if Oswald decides not to go to work that day, all this changes. I don't know if Marina in real life said that this happened or not, if this is just written for the story, but it's interesting to say that it's interesting to know that there was possibility for Oswald to not even go to work, not even be there when JFK was going to be there. And like I said, we'll see. We'll see what happens in episode 8. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, you can find me here, of course, here on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram at Perezpective. You can also see me on nerdfeed.com with all my friends and the Let's Chat team. All right, guys. Well, get with me. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys next time.